Today, you will see something beautiful. Maybe a sunset through a window. Maybe a song that hits at exactly the right moment. Maybe just the way light falls across a room. And for a second, something will happen to you. A feeling that rises without being asked. That stops you completely. That makes you forget what you were doing. And then it's gone. Here's what's strange. Scientists have studied that feeling for over 200 years. And they still cannot explain it. Not even close. We can land robots on Mars. We can edit the human genome. We mapped every star in our galaxy. But nobody, not one scientist alive, can tell you why a piece of music makes you feel like crying, or why a mountain makes you feel small, in a way that somehow feels good, or why certain faces stop you, or why a single line in a book can rearrange something inside you that you didn't know needed rearranging. This is one of the deepest unsolved mysteries in all of human science, and it lives inside every single one of us, every single day. Let's start with what we do know. In 1871, Charles Darwin noticed something that genuinely troubled him. He had spent his entire life explaining how every feature of every living creature exists for a reason: survival, reproduction, advantage. But beauty didn't fit. Why does a sunset move you emotionally? Sunsets have no calories. They don't indicate shelter. They don't warn you of danger. There is no survival reason why a sky full of orange and pink should make a human being feel anything at all. Darwin called it one of the most puzzling problems he had ever encountered, and it has stayed puzzling ever since. Here is what neuroscience has found. When you experience something beautiful, whether it's visual, musical, or even mathematical, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical triggered by food, by warmth, by the face of someone you love. In 2001, neuroscientist Blood at McGill University in Canada played music to volunteers and scanned their brains in real time. When the music gave them chills, that shiver you feel. When a song hits you perfectly, the reward centers of the brain lit up, in the exact same way they do when you eat. When you drink water, when you fall in love, your brain treats beauty like a survival reward, like something you desperately need. But here's what nobody can explain. Why? What is the survival advantage of being moved by a symphony written by someone who died 300 years ago? What does your nervous system gain from standing in front of a painting and feeling something shift inside you? The brain is treating beauty like food. But beauty has no calories. It feeds nothing physical. And yet the brain insists that it matters. That it matters enormously. In the 1990s, psychologist Rolf Reber proposed something called the processing fluency theory. The idea that we find things beautiful when they are easy for our brains to process. Symmetrical faces, clear patterns, simple, clean forms, things that require no effort to understand. Beautiful, he argued, because they feel effortless. And there is real evidence for this. Studies show that humans across all cultures consistently find symmetrical faces more attractive, that we instinctively prefer landscapes that match the African savanna, where our ancestors evolved. Open grassland, scattered trees, a water source nearby, as if beauty is a memory encoded into our biology, before any of us were born. But then something strange happens when you push this theory, because the most moving things humans have ever made are almost never simple. They are complex. They are difficult. They sometimes take years to understand. Beethoven's late string quartets were so dissonant and unusual that audiences walked out of the concert hall. Now they are considered among the most beautiful things ever created by a human being. Abstract paintings, experimental poetry, jazz improvisation, architecture that breaks every rule. We find these things breathtaking, and none of them are effortless to process. So the fluency theory breaks down, and we are back where we started. Nobody knows. In 2009, philosopher Denis Dutton gave one of the most watched TED Talks in history. He argued that beauty is not cultural. It is not learned. It is not something society teaches you. It is Darwinian. It is ancient. It is wired into the species. He pointed to the fact that across every human culture ever studied, cultures with zero contact with each other, separated by oceans and centuries, certain things are universally beautiful. Landscapes with open views and water, faces with clear skin and symmetry, the sound of a human voice singing, stories with beginnings, middles, and ends, the faces of children. He argued that beauty is a biological signal, a deep ancient signal that something is healthy, safe, worth caring about, worth keeping alive. And that argument is powerful until you try to apply it to a Beethoven quartet, or to a haiku, or to the feeling you get at the end of a great novel when you close the book and just sit in silence. There is no survival explanation for that moment. There never has been. And here is what makes all of this even stranger. Beauty is not consistent. The same song that moves you to tears means nothing to the person sitting beside you. The painting that stops you in a gallery walks straight past someone else. You have tried to share something beautiful with someone you love and watched them feel absolutely nothing. And that is one of the loneliest feelings a human being can experience. Because when something is beautiful to you, it doesn't feel like an opinion. It feels like truth. It feels like you have briefly touched something that actually matters. Something real. Something that was always there. And if someone else cannot feel it, for just a moment you wonder, if you imagine the whole thing, you didn't. The latest neuroscience suggests that beauty may be the brain's way of recognizing something specific, not survival value, not biological advantage. Meaning, when your brain encounters something, it cannot fully explain when it is complex enough to be interesting, but ordered enough to make sense. Something fires. Something that says, pay attention, this matters. Stay here. Beauty may be the feeling of the brain, discovering something worth keeping. A signal that evolved over 300,000 years, that fires every single time a human being encounters something that deserves to exist. Every sunset you have ever stopped for, every song that got inside you, every face that stayed with you, long after you looked away. Your brain was saying, this is worth something. I don't know exactly what, but something. Scientists have studied this feeling for over 200 years, and the more they study it, the more mysterious it becomes. Maybe that is the point. Maybe beauty is the one thing that was never supposed to be explained, only felt. And tonight, when something stops you, when that feeling rises without warning, you will know what it is. Your brain just found something worth keeping.